I think Poison Ivy is the best Batman villain ever. Hello friends, welcome back to the show. So glad to see you once again. Here we go. We're jumping into the new Batman adventures. And if you're new here, you have found the right place because we're getting ready to go through each and every episode of the first season of the new Batman adventures. So if this sounds like something that you're into, please please click the subscribe button below and hit like while you're down there because we got a lot of great content coming your way. And today we're talking about Holiday Nights, which originally aired on September 13th, 1997.
Here it is holiday time and we're hiding out in this dingy rat trap.
All right, so here we go. This is the first episode. As best I can tell, this is the first episode produced and the first episode that aired. I could be wrong on that. Correct me if I'm wrong. It seemed to me an odd choice to have a holiday episode airing in September. But as I watched through the episode, I think it was a really smart choice to start off the series with this episode. And we'll talk all about that right after our 60-second Joker Bomb rundown of the episode. Here we go. This episode is 3 mini stories, starting with Harley and Ivy in a hotel room getting bored. So they go out and Ivy kisses Bruce Wayne to put him into his trance, and he takes him on a shopping spree and pays for everything. Then Bruce falls down an elevator and Batman emerges, swoops in and saves the day. Then we go to December 24th, busiest shopping of the day of the year, which is where Barbara Gordon is at a mall shopping, and Bullock and Montoya are on a stakeout as Santa and his elf, and they're looking for a mysterious shoplifter who is 4 little boys running around, and then they merge into Clayface. Batgirl swoops in and saves the day. Then we go to December 31st, New Year's Eve, and Joker makes an announcement that he is renouncing off killing people as a New Year's resolution, so he's going to make up for it that night as a countdown to midnight. So Batman and a Tim Drake Robin swoop in and finally stop him with a bottle of champagne. Then we go to January 1st. Gordon and Batman sit down for a cup of coffee and salute another year of survival and fighting crime. Does that count? Does it count? I think it counts. It was close. I was still talking, but it was real close.
Joker's got the bomb and he's going to use it tonight.
Like I had mentioned, this seems like an odd choice to start with a Christmas episode, especially having it air in September. But I guess this was based on a story that they used in the Batman Adventures comic book series, and it was the Batman Adventures Christmas special. With the exception of, there was one of the stories that, and there were several differences in those, but one of the stories that they didn't use in this was, I think it was entitled White Christmas, and it included Mr. Freeze, which would have made a lot of sense because Mr. Freeze, winter, Christmas, it all ties together. But I guess the story was that he breaks out of Arkham and is putting snow over the entire city of Gotham, and Batman finally catches him, and he just wanted to give his wife, Nora, who is now deceased, a white Christmas as she's always wanted. And I guess that wasn't going to work in the series because Nora was still alive. She hadn't died, so they couldn't figure out a good way to make that work. But I think it could have still worked. Just because she was still alive doesn't mean that he couldn't have been giving her a white Christmas. But I guess they opted not to do that story because at the end of Sub-Zero, Nora was revived. And so it didn't make sense for her to be dead for this story. Although I feel like it still could have worked to have Mr. Freeze. And I think that's a great tie-in to the holidays with the Christmas and snow, and White Christmas obviously being an iconic Christmas movie.
So much for Frosty the Launch Cigar. Let's get a cup of Joe.
Not so fast, Santa. We still have to recover the evidence.
Oh, no.
And truly, I liked all of these stories. They weren't big, they weren't grand, but as we talked about in the original Batman series, that it was always kind of fun when they would do these mini episode stories. It gave a lot more variety, gave a lot more texture to the show, and a chance to see a lot more villains, which is one of the reasons why I think that it worked as a premiere episode. Because it was a way of jumping back into this story and getting to see not only several different villains in their own story, but also getting to see the dynamics of the new heroes. So Barbara Gordon kind of has her own story. Then we introduce the Tim Drake Robin with Batman and how they interact and how that's a little different. So I think in that way, it made a lot of sense to use this as a premiere episode to kind of reintroduce us to the world of Batman and Gotham City and where things are at now.
Calm down, Harl. I've got a little plan that will make this the happiest holiday ever.
So in the first story with Harley and Ivy, I think that pairing of characters is really fun. We talked about it in their other episode, Harley and Ivy. They make a great pair. I like how when they kissed Bruce Wayne, that he was really kind of struggling with trying to fight through this. And as it started to wear off, he was able to regain his wits about him. And I don't know if he purposely fell down the elevator to get away from them and escape and become Batman, or if that was truly an accident.
We killed him. Oh well.
We were going to do it anyway.
I do have to say in this story, that shopping spree scene, the montage of them shopping, was a little weird, a little odd, and a little unnecessary to me. But other than that, that story was kind of fun, but not a lot new to it. And then in the next story, we don't have Batman in it at all, but we feature Batgirl, Barbara Gordon. We have a new voice actress, Tara Strong, speaking for Batgirl now, and she goes on to speak for Batgirl for the duration and still pops up now and then as Batgirl. Tara Strong is an amazing actress, and I like a lot of her characters, although I feel like it makes Barbara Gordon sound a little younger.
Don't bet on it, gruesome.
Even though here we are years later. So we have Dick Grayson is now grown up and is no longer a college student, but is older and will become Nightwing in this series. When we last saw Batgirl and Barbara Gordon, she seemed to be about the same age as Dick Grayson, and there was a little dating. They were both in college together, and it feels a little strange that the way that Tara Strong is playing the character sounds a little younger. But other than that, I like what she's doing with the character.
Don't waste your ammo on him! Shoot the Santa!
But I really like what they did with Clayface. One, the fact that he now has the ability to split into 4 different people and control them separately, even though they're little kids, which makes sense because they're smaller in size, less clay to make them. But they're running around doing their own thing and then morph together to become one big Clayface. That's kind of cool and kind of a neat evolution of his power. Now he's learning how to control his body even more, and now can split into 4 different people. Even splitting into 2 would be threatening, but he splits into 4 is kind of neat. And I do like the design of Clayface. He's bigger, he's blockier, he's more menacing in that sense. And again, that streamlined design, he's not as drippy and muddy. He is more stout and more intimidating, I guess.
Ho, ho, ho!
Madre de Dios! Clayface!
And then we have a Joker story, which I know a lot of people talk about Joker, and I have to agree. I'm not crazy about the Joker design. I don't like that he doesn't have red lips and he's all white. It's not as starkly different as some of the other ones, like Scarecrow is completely different. But yeah, I got used to the way Joker was in the original series, so it's a little off to see him like that. But we still have the same awesome performance by Mark Hamill, and that's really what makes Joker Joker. So I'm a little more forgiving on that.
Poor Bats! That champagne went right to your head.
But yeah, I like this story. I like the idea of Joker breaking on TV and saying, hey,
I, your loving Uncle Joker, do solemnly vow not to kill anyone for a whole year.
Which is, one, a neat setup for the crime, and also with the new DC Universe app that I've been digging into a lot lately. I was able to go back and read the first appearance of Joker in the comics, in the Batman comics from 1938 or 39 or something. And it was interesting because in that story, a big element was Joker breaking on the radio and announcing who he was about to kill and marking people of who he was going after. So I like that. So there you have an element of the Joker that goes all the way back to his origins, and to see him still doing that in this iteration was kind of cool.
Hysterical.
Now that the series has moved on to Kids WB, the censors were a lot less strict for the kids' WB, believe it or not, than they were on Fox. So they were able to get away with a lot more in this series. And in particular, this is the first time that they really reference murder. And a lot of times, Joker's laughing gas just made people laugh uncontrollably. But here, it is actually going to kill people.
Joker broadcast that message at noon. Since then, only one victim has turned up.
Now the censorship is a little bit lighter, and they went full bore into it and go, okay, you don't actually get to see Joker kill somebody, but they do reference death, which is something that they never were able to do on Fox with the original series.
Strong enough to kill anyone within earshot, unless they're wearing these special mufflers.
And the battle that they have when they come down onto the central of Gotham for the New Year's Eve celebration was fantastic. One, the idea that Joker gave everybody Joker masks to help him hide in the crowd, pretty brilliant.
Not only has Joker found the perfect hiding place, he's fixed it so all his victims will die with a smile.
And so it creates this little Where's Waldo moment there. And to watch Batman and Robin utilize a bottle of champagne to bring down the Joker is pretty impressive. I think they could have done this style of episode without it taking place during the holidays, but I think the fact that it does adds another dynamic level. One, we get to see how Batman doesn't get a holiday. He doesn't get to take a break because he's fighting crime as a full-time job. No holidays for Batman.
Happy New Year, Commish. I heard your buddy had a rough night. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't show this time.
I love at the end seeing this tradition of Commissioner Gordon and Batman to meet up for a cup of coffee. And one, they salute to another year of survival.
Here's to survival. Hopefully we'll be doing this again next New Year's Eve.
Another thing that happened here is when Batman swoops away, you can see the hotel is right across the street where we started the episode with Harley and Ivy. So it kind of brings it full circle, and we get to see build on the relationship of Commissioner Gordon and Batman. And it sets the tone of what's to come. The fact that they're saluting surviving another year, I think makes the idea that, hey, this series you're about to watch is a little bit grittier. The stakes are a little bit higher. Lives can be lost in this new adventure, this new universe. And to see them taking a moment to celebrate their accomplishments and seeing Batman pay the tab and swoop off, I gotta be honest, when I saw that, I got a little choked up.
One of these years, I'm going to beat him to the check.
So when it comes time to rank this episode, should be no surprise to anyone out there that it falls at the number 1 spot of my favorite episodes so far. Yes, it's the first episode. It's the only episode we've reviewed so far. And like I said, I'm ranking this in a brand new list. I'm not ranking it against the original Batman animated series. So I'm starting a list fresh. So obviously it's going to fall on the first slot because it's the only episode. But really, it is a solid episode. I think it sets the tone for the series ahead. It gives us a nice way of reintroducing the characters, showing some of the changes, and establishing the new dynamics. Batman and Robin with Tim Drake and Batgirl playing a bigger part in this. Batman and Commissioner Gordon's relationship and setting a darker tone, referencing murder and death a couple of times in the episode. I think all of that plays really well to make this a very strong start to the series.
Yeah, big fry baby. Next!
So let me know, what was your favorite mini story of this episode? And why? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this episode, then please click the like button. If you want to see more episodes like this, then just hit subscribe, because we're reviewing each and every episode of the new Batman Adventures every Tuesday and Thursday until we finish the first season. And next Tuesday, we'll be talking about Sins of the Father, so you don't want to miss that. As always, I'm Andy Knode. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.